歡迎各位又嚟到加國生活，每逢晚上11點至12點喺 FM105.9 廣播直播室有4位朋友啦，包括我Alex啦，仲有 Joseph Wong啦，仲有 Ben 啦，仲埋 Betty 井啦，有2位咧就地產啦。咁今日咧就係農曆新年嘅賀年節目，係年初5播放嘅，就係我哋訪問咗 City of Vaughan 嘅 Mayor 咁樣，咁啊由阿 Ben 同我就即係做咗個訪問 English 嘅訪問。咁不如咧就因為農曆新年，我哋又播一播即係我哋初頭咧就同市長，咁咧就佢同我哋拜年。咁啊先去條片先啊。
Welcome, Mayor. It's a New Year Day and it's a year of the off today. And let's have a few greetings to our audience and also our radio listeners. So, 恭喜發財 and welcome Mayor join us. Let's say a few nice words to our Chinese audience.
Yes, well, thank you so much for inviting me. I'm looking forward to spending some time with you because a lot of great things going on in the city of Vaughan. And as you know, your community is very active in our city. It is growing. It is a community that I have a great deal of respect for, very entrepreneurial, family-based individuals who care about each other. And culturally speaking, real rich and vibrant culture, which really enriches the spirit of our cities in ways that really brings together all that is wonderful and beautiful about human existence. And I just wanted to express my sincerest gratitude as you celebrate this new year. May it bring you health, prosperity, and peace and tranquility to the community. And I'm looking forward to sharing some exciting news about what's going on in our city of Vaughan, a city on the move, a city where people are focused on bringing about positive change to their own personal lives, a city with great economic numbers, and a city of choice for many people. As you know, we speak 105 different languages here in the city of Vaughan. We're drawing people from all over the world. They see our city as a city of opportunity. As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, Vaughan in Chinese is a very positive.
Yes, correct, 100%. Yes, that means prosperity.
It means prosperity, and so maybe there's a connection there between the Chinese community and what we stand for. And prosperity, as you know, prosperity is not just about finances and money.
Yeah,
it's about prosperity of the spirit, prosperity of the human condition. Because at the end of the day, we collectively as a community, what we really want to do is bring about positive change to people's lives by improving their quality of life, by improving their standard of living, and also doing this in a spiritual way where people feel joy and contentment, because that is fundamental to building a great city. I often speak about this.
咁不如我哋都拜下年先啦，咁啊恭喜即係黃市同埋啲聽眾咧，就係即係牛年快樂啦，事事如意啦。咁啊 Ben 你有冇啲咩補充啊？正話嗰度，
我都希望我哋嘅聽眾大家萬事勝意啦。咁今年就勝舊年啦，舊年大家都個艱苦地經過一個鼠年，咁牛年嘅來臨，咁啊我哋嘅聽眾亦都蒸蒸日上啦。多謝各位。
阿 Betty 啊。
各位聽眾牛年行好運啦，身體健康，事事如意。
阿 Joseph 啊，
再講嗰句啦，最緊要係百毒不侵。如果身體好咧，乜都好。
OK， 咁我哋不如去一去阿 Ben 同市長咧，就即係問佢 local economy 嗰個問題。
關於個本地嘅經濟嘅發展係啦。好。
Yeah, and also people, when they feel proud to be a resident of one, they have the sense of belonging. That's called prosperity. And they love to go back there. Doesn't matter where they go. They find that go back to the city is where their home. That's the sense that people are looking for. Under your leadership, I believe one has been making the economy grow, and also there's a lot of infrastructure, and also there's a lot of other improvement to the entire city. So I'd like to listen your insights about what's going on in the city of Vaughan now.
Yes, I can tell you when I became mayor back in 2010, mission was to always reach the full potential of our city. And in many ways, with the help, obviously, of the community, we've been able to really achieve great things in the city. And that tells you something, that city building is really about pooling the resources of every single individual together so that we can, in fact, do great things here in the city. I do want to say something, though, that there's something called what I refer to, and you've probably heard me speak about this, which is very important for people to know in your community and beyond your community. And that is that we are blessed. We have a what I refer to as the Vaughan advantage. And the Vaughan advantage is something that is rooted in our people. We are a highly skilled and highly educated population. We are one of Canada's fastest growing municipalities, and I might say perhaps even one of fastest growing in North America. We have very strong economic base. We also have the 400 series highway. As you know, in order to have a competitive advantage, you have to have infrastructure that facilitates economic growth. And by that, I mean, the 407, the 400, the 427. We are also looking potentially at other infrastructure investments. And you look at, for example, the subway that we have. We are the only city outside of the city of Toronto with a subway. And as a result of that, we have been able to build around the subway a place called the Vaughan Metropolitan Center. Now, to put it in perspective, the Vaughan Metropolitan Center, when we look at the projections that we had in 2031, we are at 267%. So we have gone over the numbers, projected numbers, by quite a margin. And so when you look at the Metropolitan Center, I brought some statistics here just to give you a sense. We're achieving 267% of residential unit and 253% of our population targets. To put it in perspective so that people get a sense of what it looks like, there are 2,137 units that are occupied, 4,380 units that are under construction, 6,758 units approved by council, 5,125 units submitted as part of the complete development application, and 13,593 units identified in pre-application projects. I say these numbers, I'm very specific about it, so that people understand what is actually happening in the city of Vaughan. This is, and even with COVID, COVID-19 has slowed down a lot of, as you know, it's been a very a global challenge, not just a local challenge. What we have found in the first quarter of 2020 back then and 2021, what we found in 2020 was that there was actually an increase of 60% compared to the previous 3 years. So, and what does that tell you? Well, it tells you that people here see the city of Vaughan as a city that can, in fact, provide opportunity for people. And so I give you these stats as a way to illustrate the growth. But remember that behind every statistics, there are business people, there are individuals, there are families, there are children that are the manifestation of these statistics. So this city is very much alive, but we've made some strategic investments that I think have worked very well. We invested heavily in transit, the subway. As you may know, I'm very involved in the Vaughan Cortolucci Vaughan Hospital. I chair a campaign of $250 million called the Ultimate Campaign. And to put it in perspective, I want you to know that that we got out of the $250 million, where right now we are at approximately 180 already, which tells you that the spirit of generosity defines our city. It's a city that people are doing exceptionally well. We have high economic growth, but people, as you probably observed attending many of our functions, are people that are very generous and give of themselves in a way that speaks to the highest form of philanthropy and understanding that we are in this together, that we need to build this community in a way that represents the very best of what humanity has to offer.
咁我呢度停一停啊，阿 Ben 其實咧你用有即係問咗個另外多兩個 question 嘅，咁我就諗住咧就因為太長唔播啦。咁阿 Ben 不如你 drive 呢一個 part 嘅 discussion 咧，我會有個拜登嗰條片。咁阿 Ben 你係 on mute 嘅，你係 on mute 嘅嚇。
其實咧係想呢個講翻下呢個正話市長Mauricio 所講嘅好簡單嘅精簡嘅嗰幾句啦。咁Mauricio 一直都係標榜緊旺市有佢嘅專長特長啦。其實 Advantage 唔係 Alex， 你係咪有啲嘢圖片可以俾大家去分享下？到底佢嘅 Advantage 喺邊啦？另外一樣嘢佢都講咗，佢個城市嘅發展咧係人口係 outbeat， 即係增長係超過2.5倍計劃中嘅人嘅增長，去2031年，而嗰個物業建築嗰個增長係2.67倍，佢哋嘅預算入邊係超出咗。咁當講到物業同埋Roy 個 Metropolitan Centre 咧，我相信在座阿 Betty 同埋 Joseph 都喺呢個項目都驗知咗啲㗎啦，係嘛？個袋都袋咗少少啦，呢兩位仲
before 講嗰陣時咧，阿 Ben 我想 show 一 show 個 map， 等人哋大家知道佢講緊咩advantage嚇。係啦。咁就其實咧呢個 Google Map 咧就大家會唔會陌生㗎啦？咁但係我又揾唔到個好啲嘅 map 係咪？咁因為佢有曬啲即係地方嘅。咁呢個 City of Vaughan 咧其實咧就東邊咧就係 Bathurst 啦，西邊啊去到427咁遠嘅 ，OK？ 咁然之後南邊咧去到 Still 啦，係咪？咁大家知道 Still 嗰度咧大致上呢度咁上下啦，就係有個即係個 Vaughan 嗰個 Vaughan Metropolitan Centre。咁接住個 Spadina 嘅，咁跟住咧就去到between 去到 Highway 7嗰度有個 Vaughan Mall 啦，就佢唔係全加拿大最大個 mall， 佢係全 Toronto 最大個 mall 㗎啦，咁有好多 wholesale 㗎啦。咁跟住再上去到16街就 Canada Wonderland 啦。咁再上咧喺呢度咧，其實有兩樣嘢，就係有個叫做North Maple Park， 係 regional 嘅 park 嘅，有900個 acre， 就好大嘅。仲大過 New York 嗰個 Central Park 嘅 ，OK？ 咁然之後咧就亦都有佢有兩個 soccer field， 因為比較多意大利人，咁所以咧就係有個 soccer field。咁個醫院咧都喺嗰度嘅，都喺 Major Mac 嗰度嗰度附近。咁所以環境咧就相當優美嘅。咁佢左邊呢度咧仲有個 Michael Canada Art Collection 咧，咁呢度有大扎 park。咁所以其實好多 parkland 嘅。咁同埋我如果冇記錯咧。喺 Bathurst 上去 Bathurst 嗰陣時咧，就好似上山咁嘅。咁所以因為佢高嘅地勢高咧，所以就比較少啲 water 嘅 problem。咁呢度大致上即係大家都知道，佢又係近，佢有個近個subway嘅中站啦。嗰邊咧就有個 Woodridge 就係嗰啲 manufacturing 嗰啲啦。咁其實住咧正中咧就喺 Vaughan 嗰度嘅。咁跟住又近機場啦，咁所以好多 warehousing。咁呢個大致上就係佢個 geographic 嘅 advantage。
其實我就好想請教阿 Betty 啦。你哋做地產嘅，你哋對於城市發展應該有一啲特別敏感啦。當你哋推薦或者一陣間都都講，當你推薦呢個項目俾你嘅客人嘅時候，其實你哋應該掌握咗旺市到底係一個乜嘢東西嚟嘅。咁或者 Betty 話俾大家聽，如果你介紹人去旺市，點解你介紹人去旺市住咧？嗰度有乜嘢 advantage？ 好似市長咁講啦，咩 advantage？ 你覺得係應該去嗰邊咧？咁喺你眼中，同埋你覺得你點樣去推銷呢個城市俾大家咧？
我知道咧，就係即係早幾年嘅時間以前咧，就如果介紹旺市俾客人咧，就比較困難少少，因為個 perception 咧就係有嗰個少少嘅 crime 啦，即係佢又近 Keo 啊 Jane 啊，即係介紹嘅時候咧，佢哋嘅 mind 咧就成日話第一好遠啦，第二咧就好亂嘅嗰度咁樣，又去唔到嗰個地方，即係難啲 commute 去嗰度。但係近年咧，因為嗰個 location 改變得好緊要，咁同埋咧就比較容易啲放我哋去介紹俾客人咧，就係其實嗰度高得非常之好嘅。 crime 唔係好高，因為嗰個perception 係其實係好南邊先至好多 crime 嘅，即係嗰個 below highway
嗰度，去到 still 嗰度。
近啲係咯，嗰個 university 嗰度啦，咁變咗啲人一諗咧就係話啊，我好驚嗰度，或者去唔到嘅太遠。但係佢最大嘅改變咧就係幫助嗰個 city 咧，我自己覺得咧就係嗰個 U subway 啊，嗰個開咗咧就。
Spadina 個中站係啦。
冇錯啦，嗰個 VMC 變咗，我記得2017年介紹客人嘅時候，已經啲客人改變咗好多，即係 in the past years 咧就係大部分係意大利嘅客人啦，住嗰度同埋啲Jewish 嘅人啦，咁但係而家咧陸續好多 investor 啊，好多中國人都好多咗好多因為有好多外地嘅 foreign student 咧，佢哋都係去個大學咧 automatic 就睇咗啲房地產係喺北邊嗰度嘅。咁同埋我介紹咧，就係話嗰個 commute 其實係呢個 city 嗰個 commute 咧係最 out of 咁多個 city 喺 GTA 咧，佢係好中心啊，好近407啦、400啦，仲有加埋呢個新嘅subway直落 Union 啦，其實係個 best commute 啊，所以比較容易啲。而家比較容易啲俾啲客人知道呢樣嘢，同埋多咗好多 investor。
所以你覺得咧交通咧就係令到啲人改變咗個睇法啦。咁就係啦。咁啊另一樣啦 ，Jo 啦，咁你係萬業王華商會嘅前會長啦。咁我哋個會呢個華商會我都係其中一份子啦。我哋個商會過去就係未有旺市嘅。係，不如你話分析下點解一個華商會都會諗到伸埋隻手、伸埋隻腳個旺市？係咪嗰邊你覺得個商機係會存在，特別華商嗰邊發展係有機會咧？你睇點睇個中小企嘅商機咧？喺嗰邊，特別係華方面。
基本上我哋華商會其中一個會董咧，喺10年前已經係開始喺灣裏邊去揼石仔㗎啦，即係變咗話其實嗰10年前灣都仲係因為好荒蕪嘅一個地方，但係因為我哋其中呢啲嘅譬如話 band 啊或者其他好幾個，佢哋好睇好灣，因為佢個權力係好大，但係當時佢哋人和咁早幾年。其實兩個大盤喺灣出咗嚟，其實嗰時係直情無名，冇乜人去嘅地方。譬如有兩個係好大嘅建築商喺Jane 同埋 Highway 7有兩個盤賣晒，突然間取消，啲人先 pick attention，咦咩事發生咧？點解會咁渴望，即係咁渴嘅一個地區咁嘅情況？跟住咧就加上佢啲消息出嚟啦，subway起啦，跟住就話陸續入伙啦。咁同埋一個好大型嘅建築商喺嗰度成呢個勢，就賣咗成5棟嘅大廈，賣晒。而家好快脆2年裏邊3座可以入伙嘅，就冇乜幾好喺而家今時今日咁快脆可以有3座2年裏邊可以入晒伙嘅。咁加上就話好似個市長講咧，咁佢又有新醫院，同埋因為佢真係地大物博，地方大都好緊要。如果近呢3幾年咧，好多新移民我哋華人咧都湧入咗去灣，因為佢個配套係好新，地方好大，唔會好密質，好似Markham 啊、Richmond Hill 咁樣。咁所以係吸引到好多，同埋話即係好多大型嘅發展商都其實佢哋係灣嘅，佢哋喺10年前已經收購咗好多個樓，咁不停咁同政府申請。好似上兩個禮拜，我同一個比較大型嘅建築商傾，咁佢話佢喺灣喺今年啦，2021年將有3個大型嘅樓盤喺灣裏邊推出嚟嘅，咁變咗就呢啲係一個好即係個商機喺度，所以就話計咗好多機會，同埋話你諗下 BWC 嘅總部咧 ，Royal Bank 嘅總部咧，有間好大型嘅家私鋪，全部圍繞住嗰個subway站附近去入伙嘅，咁所以就話即係嗰個經濟刺激係好大，因為佢講咗佢會增咗 create 咗好多嘅就業機會，同埋正話之前我哋同阿 Ben 傾過就話，因為呢個市長好有遠見，佢好早已經諗住 work at home 呢一樣嘅 concept。咁變咗就話，即係佢要開始向呢個方向去發展嗰陣時候，亦吸引到一啲年青人咧喺嗰度買啲細型嘅單位，咁所以就近呢幾年真係好旺嘅一個地方嚟嘅。
Alex 啊，咁你喺萬錦市嗰邊，你一直都關注市政嘅發展啦。咁你覺得旺市同萬錦市喺城市特別對商業用地嘅發展，你覺得同有冇大嘅分別咧？佢哋大家都在客區之下啦。我知道你對萬錦市就好多參與嘅。好多活動，
萬錦市就係一個好唔同嘅 city 嚟嘅，佢就好多 IT technology 嘅， 咁相對嚟講咧，就即係旺市咧，佢咧其實係一個即係喺 GTA 裏邊，佢個 employment 係排名第3嘅。咁係譬如 Toronto 咧就有1.5個 million 嘅 job 啦。咁去到 Mississauga 咧就43萬，旺市係佔咗23萬，咁而且仲係繼續 grow 嘅。咁Markham 咧講緊16萬，好少 job 嘅。咁所以相對嚟講咧，其實大家講漏咗嘅咧，就點解啲人會去旺市住？其中一個原因唔係話淨係 transportation 好啊，又有 shopping 又得，又有得玩啊 Wonderland 係咪？咁其實真係即係得天獨厚啦，又喺 highway 口又近機場。其實佢有兩邊嘅，喺即係48嗰陣時，右手邊咧就 City of Vaughan， 然之後左手邊咧就 Woodridge 咧其實咧就係一個 manufacturing industrial 嘅 area。咁因為喺嗰度咧啲地係比較平啲啦，咁所以好多 business 咧亦都近個機場，所以好多 business 啲 factory 啊 manufacturing 咧就去到嗰邊。咁所以咧就有23萬份 job。咁所以其實有1/3嘅人咧，就喺 City of Vaughan 咧就 travel within city 去做嘢嘅。咁所以其實咧就嗰度咧就係佔咗好大部分，即係喺嗰度居住嘅人，就因為喺 local 可以工作下。咁所以其實咧就係即係佢係 after Mississauga 係另外一個係比較多人係用呢個工業用地啊、商業用地嘅地方。商業嘅當然係 One Centre 啦，家下 around 嗰邊就好多 office 啊。咁所以佢將來嘅潛力係相當好，因為個 geographic 係相當好，同埋個 mix 係好啱嘅。我相信咧佢嘅發展咧，未來咧就 Mississauga 做唔到嘅，佢就做到㗎啦。
我諗大家對旺市對於我一個嚟加拿大好耐嘅人嚟講咧，對旺市嘅最早嘅認識就係 Canada Wonderland 啦，1981年開幕嘅。你哋在座有冇人去過啦？1981年我第一次去 Wonderland， 係1981年嗰陣時係排長隊，咁可以想像到咧，當時佢揀呢個址咧，係因為佢實在喺嗰刻中覺得佢遠離市區嘅，簡直荒蕪到不得再荒蕪，佢先至去嗰度搞嘅啫嘛。估唔到城市發展就因為佢夠荒蕪。所有嘢冇固定嘅嘢，歷史嘅包袱，俾佢要繞路啊，要重建啊，要改屋啊。譬如你喺 Markham Village 好多舊嘅嘢，你唔可以喺呢一刻中去清改，反而喺嗰邊咧全新嘅地方咧容易做好多嘢啦。咁我哋亦都講到係呢個，因為佢個23萬嘅就業市場咧，係令到旺市咧係雖然人口40萬到嘅啫，都基本上咧超過一半人係可以有一工作喺嗰度。所以佢亦都要接濟一部分喺外邊城市嘅人去嗰度工作嘅，咁所以我相信你做地產嘅咧會知道嗰個商業嘅走勢㗎啦。咁或者我哋喺地產嘅時候咧，或者係 Alex 咧，更多嘅問題咧，再同我哋兩位嘉賓咧可以傾到底個地產嘅發展咧係點樣係令到旺市係我哋可能一個未來嘅一個趨勢啦。因為我喺節目都講過。旺市喺20年前嘅口號就係 We are the city above Toronto， 好似咧避免解釋咧，就話俾人聽我哋係喺多倫多之上嘅，其實係地理上佢就係加拿大之上，多倫多之上，因為佢多倫多北邊啊嘛，咁所以佢一直都係宣傳緊呢個口號。我哋係咪去轉？去
拜登嗰條問題啦，好嘛？
係。
咁呢個係因為佢係 manufacturing。咁所以 Made in Ontario 應該係做得最好嘅。
Many years ago, when I was traveling in the States, I heard radios that City of Vaughan has placed some advertising saying that City of Vaughan is very easy direct connect to the US. Because just going down 400 at 41 QEW and then all the way to the state. Now under the new Biden government, do you think the US will import more Canadian goods? And how one prepare to make goods made in Canada, so if we have a chance to export more our goods from Canada to the US?
Yeah, I think that it's very fundamental for us to continue to have a very healthy economic relationship with the United States. It's one of the largest trading relationships in the entire world. Billions of dollars cross the border every day here between Canada and the US. And we are part of that, very much part of that exchange. Many companies in the city of Vaughan export to the United States. I know some companies, for example, in the plastics industries and manufacturing, that have seen, that 80%, 70% of their business is with the U.S. and the rest is domestic or with other countries. I think that the Biden administration, depending on how they are going to relate to what kind of foreign policy they're going to have in reference to trade, will provide us perhaps an opportunity to even augment and improve the trading relationships. But these are, as you know, these are very interesting times for the world, not just for the city of Vaughan, but there's a new world order emerging, partially because of COVID-19, but also I think countries are trying to reposition themselves in the world economy, and it's going to require us to be innovative. It's going to require us to focus on quality products, to create specialization in niche markets that are typically Canadian and that can serve the United States, obviously, because it's our closest market, but also to have a broader view, to start thinking more globally about the opportunities that are out there. But we are an export-based country as well. At one point, we were largely resource-based. We continue to be resource-based, but I do think that developing a more innovative, technologically advanced country will help with the exports, with the production, and it's key because today a lot of things are based on ideas. You have Amazon. Amazon, for example, is their business has expanded rapidly, but it's very interesting. Amazon really doesn't produce the products; they just deliver them. But yet they're the biggest now, the biggest company in the world. But they don't produce anything.
Yeah, actually, when you talk about technological，
咁咧就呢度咧就仲有大約分零鐘咁樣。阿 Ben 以後嗰啲，因為佢都係即係 repeat。明白，係啦，係繼續。咁你不如咧做一個1分鐘嘅結論，咁然之後我哋下半場繼續講呢個問題。
其實我哋簡單講講咧，就係旺市一直都強調緊佢哋嗰個優點優勢喺邊度啦。咁亦都係講緊求變啦。咁變係咪我哋未來商業要做嘅嘢咧？因為佢一直講緊係 change， 過去10年旺市係一直咁不斷咁去改變。希望呢個變係民眾接受嘅啦，咁再加上美國而家新任嘅政府上台，市長亦都講得好清楚啦，佢哋會迎接。但係一陣間喺下半部節目咧，我想問阿 Betty 同埋阿 Jo 就係話，你哋身邊有冇咩朋友咧係重新 reposition 緊自己點樣去迎接美國新政府嗰個商業嘅模式嘅時候咧，有冇客戶係需要更多嘅一啲生產嘅基地？係做一啲加拿大嘅產品咧，係可以出口到去美國嘅。咁呢個旺市始終係一個蒸蒸日上蓬勃緊嘅地方啦。咁我哋可以喺下一節嘅時候咧，再講講佢喺其他交通同埋地產嘅時候咧，點樣配合到呢個經濟嘅發展啊？
好，我哋轉頭翻嚟好冇？歡迎各位又嚟到家國生活，每逢晚上11點至12點喺 FM105.9 廣播。阿 Ben， 我哋正話講到邊度啊？
我哋啱喺上半節就講緊旺市嘅經濟發展啦，我亦都邀請緊我兩位嘉賓，突然間咧點樣去分析一下佢對呢個發展，我哋可以點樣去參與得如其利咧？喺講佢哋兩位發言之前咧，我知道 Alex 你有一啲關於唔同sector 嘅一啲旺市嘅一啲商業嘅分佈咧，先同大家分享一下先，然之後等你兩位嘉賓可以就住去發表佢嘅意見。
好，咁我去幾個 graphic 嘅 diagram 先啦嚇。咁呢度咧，第一個咧就係講緊旺市咧，佢即係其實咧就最大 manufacturing 啦，22% 啦 ，construction 就13% 啦，其他嗰啲就唔係咁多嘅，咁所以咧就係即係主力係呢兩方面係咪？咁其實 professional service 咧都好多有5% 咁樣樣。咁跟住咧就呢個 diagram 咧就有啲比較實際啲嘅數字啦。 咁佢話有成1萬個 business 咧就係 real estate 嘅，有8000幾個就係 construction 嘅 ，professional 有8000幾個 ，finance 咧就5000幾個。咁所以即係呢啲係佢哋嗰個sector 嗰個 number of business 有大有細啦，係咪啊？咁跟住呢個 diagram 咧就講緊話其實咧就係有40% 嘅人喺 Toronto 翻工嘅，37% 係翻旺市啊，咁所以個數字都幾高啊。咁跟住咧呢個咧就係講緊個 manufacturing 嘅 sector 啦。咁其實咧就係差唔多去到5萬嘅數字啦，有5萬個 employment 啦。咁然之後咧就係有1600個 business 啦。咁佢哋係個叫做嘅 advanced manufacturing 嘅，所以唔係話淨係做嗰啲即係普通嘅 manufacturing 嘅，好diversify嘅嚇。咁跟住咧就係呢個咧就係 wholesale sector， 因為佢近機場，咁所以咧佢咧就係亦都有個 one more， 因為個 one more 咧就 drive 咗個 wholesale sector 有2萬幾份工，咁有成1200個 company 啊。咁跟住咧就係 professional service 就第3啦，咁咧就呢樣嘢咧就係即係可以咧就令到嗰啲 manufacturing 啊，甚至乎唔同嘅 sector 可以 glue together 噶啦。咁啊有成16000個 job， 咁就差唔多1200個 company 啊，比較細啲噶。咁跟住因為佢近機場，亦都有個 wholesale， 咁所以佢有個 transportation 同埋 warehouse 12000份 job。咁啊呢啲比較大啲嘅217間公司咁樣，咁應該都係大型嗰啲 truck 嘅 company 嚟嘅。咁另外 professional service 正話講過啦，咁正話好似 repeat 咗啦，咁即係差唔多嘅 sector 你睇到整體上咧就 manufacturing 最多啦，咁跟住咧就 wholesale 啦，咁跟住咧就係 logistic 啦，咁跟住 professional service。咁professional service 其實好多 technology， 不過就冇 highlight 到咁樣。咁呢個就係簡單佢哋個 business profile。
Betty 啊，我想問你啦。咁你做地產亦都一定係接咗好多商家嘅朋友，亦都好多商家係揾緊地方做生意。咁我睇你喺最近呢1年嚟，特別最近呢個零月啦，美國換屆政府，你覺得加拿大出口同你身邊嘅朋友可唔可以拉到一啲關係，同埋你點樣睇到咧？美國呢個經濟嘅市場嘅轉變，我哋可唔可以喺旺市做一啲生意嘅嘢咧？你點樣睇呢個商機？
不過咧，旺市即係頭先之前嗰個 session Alex 都講過咧，就係其實Vaughan 跟住 Maple、Woodbridge 嗰邊咧，其實嗰個地咧仲係比較平嘅，咁所以咧。都好大嘅商機咧，譬如啲 business 係做 logistics 即係可以，因為有近 highway 近美國，咁所以我覺得嗰度係好有潛質嘅將來。咁第一就係我仲有咧，就係覺得可能嘅 city 咧要 work 好 closely with 啲 builder 啦，即係繼續起多啲房即係 units 啦，啲 building 啦。做多啲嘅 housing 嗰個即係平啲嘅 housing 出嚟，咁幫助即係多啲 population 可以 stay 喺 City of Vaughan， 因為正話我哋睇嘅 chart 咧，40% 都係 work from 喺 Toronto 嗰邊，咁所以嘅商機係好多 for business 搬出嚟呢個平啲嘅 office， 可以 build 多啲business 喺上邊，咁就吸引到啲人可以搬過嚟，或者又唔使 travel 咁遠去翻工咁樣咯。
因為呢個地，我諗對於做生意嘅人嚟講咧，一個好緊要嘅一個指標嚟嘅。因為特別如果轉型，好似你話市長喺節目尾聲講咗 Amazon 嗰啲，係一個貨倉嚟嘅啫嘛，連自己產品工廠都冇嘅，都可以做得成。咁我想問阿 Joe 啦，我哋喺嗰邊，如果你有生意介紹人過去，你啲客戶或者商會有人想問你要去Vaughan做生意。或者有乜嘢生意會話咧？你哋而家去Vaughan好，擺定條頭簿啦，可以喺嗰邊開始做定準備定㗎啦，唔好等到所有嘢成熟晒就已經冇機會嘅。咁你會邊一類生意會介紹佢過去可以考慮咧？
其實咧，Vaughan喺早嘅3幾年前咧，已經係有一個department， 即係類似好似我哋 Markham 或者個叫一條龍嘅。咁但係我覺得佢做呢樣嘢出嚟咧，係比起Markham 點出咧係靈活好多嘅。Markham 呢張我比較保守，佢 全部都係跟本子辦事。本書裏面有嘅嘢，佢話你可以做嘅，但係要改少少嘢咧，就要經真係過五關斬六將，你先可以批嘅。但係 One 咧嗰班就係佢年青化咗，同埋佢哋個 mindset 咧係好靈活嘅。譬如話，我想做間廠，唔理你大細，即係當然唔好話細到1000尺咁細啦。譬如話1萬隻至到10萬隻嘅話，咁佢根本即刻同你開好快要開個 meeting，咁多個地方民坐晒喺度，你講咧。我哋有咩 support 到你？咁佢哋一講出嚟，譬如好多地係根本係嗰個用途係未必係啱你嘅，但係佢哋係好短時間裏邊，佢哋可以疏通到、溝通到個 city 各個 department 可以銜接到，或者俾好多嘅意見俾你。不如咁啦，咁即係佢哋唔係 say no 嘅，即係就唔係話如果咁樣唔得，佢俾埋個 solution 你點樣先可以做到你要做嘅嘢。咁呢樣嘢，我覺得其他嗰兩個Vision同 Markham 係仲未做到嘅嘢，所以點解會吸引到好大班嘅商家入去嗰度開始坐咧同傾偈，包括咗話我最近有個機會同一個大嘅建築商，就係申請佢係嗰個改變用途裏邊嘅發展。咁佢哋真係好靈活，嗰屋地明明係唔可以起租下嘅，咁但係佢坐台傾大咗3個禮拜，佢已經俾咗一個好完整嘅意見俾佢錄出嚟。如果你咁樣配合到我哋市政府咧，我哋就批俾你㗎啦。咁但係我諗Markham Vision起碼用1年2年嘅時間先做好到佢3個月做嘅嘢。咁呢樣嘢係一個好大嘅號召力，所以我哋就話好大信心，就話即係如果你有商戶係想入去灣，因為佢地方多啦，佢有交通
租涉好似租涉嗰度線路嗰度。不如阿 Ben 你唔介意我加插2-3句？
好，我都想嚟講，因為你對都係城市發展，跟住我哋會講地產嘅時候咧，你都有一啲好深入嘅問題問緊市長，或者跟進呢方面。
咁其實即係One 咧，我發覺佢即係正如租涉正話所講咧，佢係好 flexible 嘅，佢係全加拿大第一個 city 咧就可以 pilot drone 嘅。drone 啱啱其實即係佢一開始2-3年前咧開始即係話即係加拿大話可以即係開放 drone 嗰個頻道，咁佢又咁近機場喎，佢又夠膽做呢樣嘢喎，咁所以即係當然佢有 restriction 啦，我當時睇得好清楚，咁所以係冇問題嘅，咁因為好多掣肘佢哋唔可以近 highway 啊諸如此類，因為俾佢 pilot 啊，咁當時有間咧就係佢整咗一個好大嘅 drone，嗰啲大到即係話即係成架車咁大嘅。但係呢張嘅 battery 嘅問題，所以佢哋係 travel 到45分鐘，但係佢就可以咧就幫 Newmarket 運藥啦。即係 Newmarket 如果即係佢因為 Newmarket 有個好大嘅 South Lake Hospital 咧，佢嗰啲藥咧就可以咧就係send 過嚟南邊啊，或者可以幫手 send 去 Barrie 啊，咁佢呢間公司做嗰樣嘢。同埋佢哋咧亦都咧就係嘗試有間公司，佢哋咧就係有個 robot 咧。就係喺個 hotel 裏邊可以做 room service 嘅，咁所以佢哋嘅 city 其實係好多 innovation 喺度存在咁樣。咁我發覺即係市長講話，原來佢哋係好大嘅 plastic 嘅供應商嚟嘅。咁加講緊咧就zero waste plastic， 所以其實嗰方面係一個好大嘅潛質。咁當然佢哋亦都好多即係用呢個 technology 嘅 application 啊。同埋佢有 advanced manufacturing， 我覺得係前途係相當之好嘅。
我哋講商業都差唔多啦，不如講第二個問題啊 ，Alex 你帶出嚟嘅就關於呢個旺市嘅房地產發展，因為我哋有2位專家喺度，亦都可以睇下分析下到底嗰個發展係咪真係我哋國民或者市民嘅需要嚟。
嗱，跟住落嚟嗰個問題咧就係 housing 嘅 ，OK？ 係啦。咁咧就因為咧就始終阿 Patty 講咗個問題。有啲咩即係可以即係 affordable 啲嘅 unit， 咁令到多啲人可以係皇氏住，因為佢其實好多 industrial 可能相對嚟講人工冇咁高。咁啊，想聽下市長點講啦，好嘛？Let we talked enough about the local economy. So let's go on to the housing, which you already sort of start, right? So I know that there's quite a number of, like a tower in the metropolitan center.
Yes.
Like it's building up. As you know, there's a 5-tower Transit City, 4-tower Expo City, and I think Festival is like 3-tower. I can't maybe.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah. So I can't remember the exact detail. So given last year the house price in GTA area, I don't want to mention specific city because it can change. So the GTA area on average, raised by 13.5% in terms of the house price. And then, this year's project, 7%, which I think is underestimated. Many think that it'll be similar, except, people want to talk such that it doesn't, you don't want to heat up the market quite a bit, right? So in that angle, we were talking to, Mississauga Mayor Crombie.
Mm-hmm.
They relatively, their house prices is lower. And the way that they did, they have lined up a lot of condominium build in near the Mississauga downtown area. 25 towers upcoming in the next 4 years. So they maintain the supply so that they can sort of, get a balance with the affordability to a house. So not only do they do inclusive zoning, but they also focus on the house supply. How does city of, Vaughan, cater in terms of house supply and the same time affordability of the house?
Yeah, of course, there are some affordable housing projects that are on their way, but it's very interesting, and I said this earlier, one of the ways which I've been able to increase housing supply, not just for now, but for in the future, is that I've asked developers that they should dedicate 10% of their projects to affordable housing. And so there are a number of projects now that will have 10% affordable housing, which means that in cooperation with the developer and the regional and municipal government, these individuals will be able to buy units. 10% of those units will be approximately anywhere between 20 to 30% cheaper than market price, because I believe in ownership, right? There's also some buildings that are going up now that are rental purpose building, which means people will rent the buildings. And I think that's part of an evolution of the city, right? We didn't have that unless you're talking about secondary suites or some homes that people rent. And so I think that affordable housing still is affordable, and I would say affordable, accessible housing is still a challenge. But because businesses also understand that in order to maintain a labor supply, you have to have affordable housing. See, affordable housing is always presented as a social issue. And it's not really a social issue per se. It's a social and economic issue. It's both.
Yeah.
Because on one hand, people need a place to live, right? And on the other hand, they play an important role in the functioning of the economy by being the labor supply that is required for the production of products and services. And so what I found is that I needed to get the private sector involved, and I did. And as a result, now there's going to be projects where you're going to have this type of home ownership. There's no question about it. We used to hear about New York City and other areas in the world that were really expensive. The real estate was expensive. The reality is we're catching up to international markets. And, even you have to appreciate too that even with COVID-19, you probably have noticed some greater vacancies in the center of Toronto.
Yeah.
Because people now want some space. They want some room.
Yeah.
But those spaces are very expensive as well. So some people may use the condo market as an entry level, or if you're an elderly, as a way to downsize. When elderly citizens downsize, they're opening up space also for new generations of people that are building their families and so on.
Yeah, so I heard, some. 咁我哋就聽到呢度啦。咁其實佢亦都有講到咧，就話not only 個 affordable housing 係一個 social and economic issue， 佢覺得咧就唔應該咧就揾啲商家嚟 solve 一個即係嗰個 affordability 嗰樣嘢，應該係三級政府由 federal 開始咧就係處理呢個問題嘅咁樣樣。咁就其實即係上半場咧就佢曾經講過，即係其實喺 Vaughan 咧個 housing supply 咧。就相當之唔錯啊！佢 Metropolitan Centre 嗰啲2000幾個單位已經入住咗啦，4003個標緊啦。咁其實咧又有6000個就差唔多7000個 approve 咗嘅。 咁佢會唔會起咧？咁唔知啦。咁仲有18000個咧，就即係喺個 application 嗰度。咁所以其實個 supply 係相當啲充裕嘅咁樣樣。咁喺呢個問題，不如我即係 start with Ben 啦 ，Ben 你係即係general comment 啊，呢個 affordability 嗰樣嘢啊。
其實啊，我簡單講講啦，呢個係一個自由商業社會啦。如果要夾硬一啲商家做一啲嘢出嚟，用福利形式去俾社會嘅話咧，呢個福利應該一定，除非你係非牟利機構啦，否則一定要有政府嘅插手。如果唔係嘅話咧，我哋唔可以打開門口食飯，每日都容許一個街嘅人嚟我屋企食餐飯，因為佢肚餓。冇一個家庭會容許，冇一個商家會咁樣做。呢個簡直係你委曲。如果夾硬強迫自由社會嘅人去做呢件事，就係變咗咧，就係夾硬好似溫哥華你見到啦，佢哋會將啲屋起到好古靈精怪，或者令到發展商遲遲唔發展，咁啊阻礙咗真正嘅發展嘅。我覺得一個真正嘅可承擔房屋嘅租賃或者可承擔房屋嘅買賣咧，冇政府嘅參與係做唔嚟嘅。借鏡香港嘅公共房屋政策、新加坡嘅公共房屋政策，呢啲先至係有可能係 sustainable 嘅。咁我反而想睇下兩位地產嘅專業人士啦 ，Becky 你先睇睇，如果夾硬強加要發展商去喺任何發展都預，到底啲發展商係寧願係擺一個區，我起5間屋，我成間俾晒你做非牟利嗰啲就好過啦，你唔好影響我另外4間，因為否則我另外4間都冇人入去住嘅。咁呢啲係咪一個可行嘅政策咧？咁或者你同大家講講啊？
其實我個人覺得咧，就係即係希望個 city 係做多啲幫忙create 多啲嗰個即係個 unit 俾啲客人啦，即係冇咁貴嘅啦。但係個地發展商嚟講咧，其實我都有遇到咧，係有客人咧，即係呢個係喺 downtown 啦，都有試過咧，有某個builder 佢係assign 咗一部分，即係半棟嘅 building 出嚟係 for 嗰個 housing 嘅。咁但係個買家我帶客人去睇過咧，兩個客人都有個 concern 嘅，少少 concern 就係話呢邊係廉價㗎，咁我哋會唔會影響啊咁樣？所以我覺得啲發展商都有呢個考慮嘅。咁好似你頭先講話，可能佢哋都寧願話，不如 designate 一個 location 去做晒呢樣嘢啦。咁佢嘅 selling 即係賣嗰個會容易啲咯。即係如果係成棟係冇呢個 subsidize 嗰個廉價嗰個units 嗰個咩咯個 plan。我呢個係我嘅睇法。
你點樣睇你嘅責任喺邊度啦？其實
個責任你睇翻 Toronto 好似 Parliament 嗰度咁，佢咁多年前俾落一啲係真係成區都係 low income housing 嗰陣時候，但係結果係點樣樣咧？個區係冇人敢入，銀行一間都唔敢喺嗰度開。咁政府而家用咗10年時間，將同一個大建築商將佢哋 move out。其實佢哋個軟件係啱嘅，咁但係問題話即係邊個俾錢？但係以我所知咧，就話大型嘅基建，如果你要攞到個 zoning咧，政府係有個條件喺度。不過 one 係 OK 10% 啫嘛，但係單係20至25% 嘅，都係好唔同。one 係10%，而係話佢哋個 design 咧就話，雖然係同一個 building 裏邊有兩種高低收入嘅人喺度，但係佢哋係分開門牌、分開電梯，係完全係好似杜絕咗嗰啲low income 入到去嗰個 main condo 裏邊嘅。咁其實而家個趨勢一定係咁樣，冇辦法，而係話政府點樣去鼓勵啲建築商？以我所知就話建築即係點咧，就話個 levy， 你喺呢啲 low income 嗰陣時候咧就平好多嘅。譬如話舉個例咧，我唔知係 exact 得唔得1萬蚊一個 unit， 但係咧 condo 咧可能係4萬蚊一個 unit， 咁去鼓勵建築商你擺多啲部分落去，因為佢俾少咗個稅，所以佢可以將個價錢降低少少，咁樣去做 10% 都我覺得都係合理嘅，同埋話佢嗰個灣地方真係好大，同埋好似你話個市長講，佢咁多新嘅基建喺度，如果每一個condo building 都有10%，同埋佢嗰個起得係比較快啲嘅，咁佢個 supply 係其實好過其他嗰幾個 city 嘅。
不如我想講嘢，呢個其實唔係好 work 嘅，一定唔 work 嘅，因為即係除非好似即係 Tridel 喺 Grove and Mill 嗰個舊址嗰度咧，喺 Spadina 嗰度，佢 big enough， 佢 allocate 一個 tower 專門係做 affordable rental 嘅，咁就可以解決。但唔係話個 condo 嘅 development 咁大嘅嘛，咁所以其實唔係好 work 嘅。 相對嚟講，佢哋咧考慮緊咧，其實叫嗰啲 developer 咧，如果唔夠嘅，將嗰扎 unit 係 suppose affordable 嘅，等咗一個 reserve fund 嗰度，等咗一個 reserve fund，然之後咧就 separately build 一啲 affordable rental 或者 affordable housing， 咁先至獲嘅由3級政府啊俾 grant 處理嗰個問題啊。咁不如我哋呢個 housing 咧，我就去到呢度先。
講交通啦，係啦，落去。
係交通，咁去交通嗰個嗰條片先啦。嗱，因為技術故障咧，咁所以咧我就係唔播條片啦。咁簡單嚟講咧，就因為咧transportation 咧就係因為 Covid 咧，就令到好多人 work from home， 有成70%嘅即係downtown做嘢嘅人咧，就係即係喺佢哋屋企工作咁樣。咁呢個會唔會改變咗即係嗰個 pattern 咧？即係個 traveling 個 pattern， 即係唔使咧就即係 peak hour 嗰陣時個 loading 咁勁。咁啊，市長嗰個答覆咧就話，其實咧佢一開始諗啊，做嘢嗰樣嘢咧，其實 7/24， 點解一定要話個係要朝9晚5啦？係咪？令到個 peak hour always 係朝頭早8點，然之後落單餐咁樣，其實唔需要嘅。咁佢覺得咧就應該咧就好多咧就係採取 flexi hour 同埋呢個 work-life balance 嘅。咁但係呢樣嘢咧就反而咧就係即係好多個商家咧就冇諗到。咁但係去到呢個 Covid 呢個時間咧，就將呢樣嘢 accelerate 咗。咁大家可以 live work balance 啦。咁 eventually 可能咧，即係譬如話部分嘅點樣講？即係有可能咧，就即係話佢會因為咧呢個可以 remote work，咁令到啲員工可能咧就係即係部分時間咧就 work in the office， 部分時間咧就係 work from home， 令到有 work-life balance。大致上係佢係咁樣講法嘅，係咪 Ben？
係啦，
記咗。
係嗱，如果大家係想睇原汁原味聽翻晒整個市長嘅訪問咧，可以喺我哋網上嘅 YouTube 揾到啦。咁其實另外市長亦都講咗有2點係稍作補充，一咧就係話佢覺得我哋唔應該為咗2個鐘頭嘅交通擠塞咧，將條公路由4線變8線。佢話點解唔將條4線來回嘅公路24小時去用？何需要建多2條公路係俾人樽頸嘅時候去用咧？咁呢個就正話解釋到正話 Alex 所講啦，就係點樣將嗰個繁忙時間係拉長。所有嘅公共設施係24小時都用得着，唔需要係話只係邊個時候係用得着。咁呢個係一個佢嘅一個提出嚟嘅建議。另外一樣嘢佢都講過，就話佢喺10年前當市長嘅時候已經考慮到咧有機會咧係 work from home 呢樣嘢㗎。咁所以喺個城市規劃設計入邊咧，佢已經喺佢個計劃中咧係考慮到呢樣嘢㗎啦。咁其實想問一問你哋2位啦，個交通而家喺呢個旺市嘅交通同呢個其他城市嘅交通嚟相比咧，你覺得旺市係咪有已經一定嘅優勢咧？Betty，交通嚟講，
我覺得咧嗰個優勢係絕對非常之好嘅，係旺市，因為咧佢係其實years ago 好多年前咧我都係住 downtown， 我覺得好遙遠嚟灣，聽到灣，但係咧其實佢而家嗰個位置咧係其實可以去到東南西北啊，好方便啊！即係有好多人住北邊咧，佢都係行一半路。即係如果佢有機會翻工喺灣咧，絕對係非常之好嘅 location。咁啊向南又好近，東邊又近Markham 呢邊，即係佢其實係好中間啊！即係佢比 Markham 優勢，我覺得even 嗰個 Richmond Hill 佢都係佢仲 central more central than Richmond Hill， 即係我自己覺得嗰個 location commute 佢係非常之優勢。
你真係想象下，如果有啲朋友住喺 Barrie、Innisfield 喺北邊落嚟，沿住400，可能半個鐘頭車就已經去到 Highway 7同埋呢個400。咁泊低嘅車喺地鐵總站就可以再坐半個鐘頭地鐵咧，就已經1個鐘頭之內已經可以 Barrie 落到多倫多市中心。呢一種對於就地有啲人就地嘅消費咧係一件好事嚟嘅。啲人譬如放工喺灣買埋餸先翻上去，或者買埋外賣先走咧，呢個亦都係幫助咗旺市喺地鐵附近嗰個商業嘅活躍程度嘅。阿 Jo 點睇啊？Jo
係啊，嗱，你諗下，我記得嗰陣時嗰個地鐵站未開嘅時候，如果你讀 UT 咧，你讀嗰個York U 咧，全部都係 North York Downtown 上嚟嘅，就南向北上嘅。但係一調翻嘅時候，佢條周圍開咗之後，啲人咧就由北向南落，咁變咗你疏導咗好多嘅交通，唔係好似另外佢講嗰個，唔係塞住，淨係去由南去北。咁變咗好多嘅用家啊、學生啊，或者係教師嗰啲，全部可以喺 Highway 7嗰度翻學，仲近添。咁同埋佢一路嗰個 infrastructure 個配套都係新淨，同埋乜都有。咁所以就話你加強咗，將啲人流去分散咗，咁變咗就唔需要除咗到咁多個 traffic 喺裏邊。咁加上咧，當然係啦，佢配套喺佢作為一個中心點喺嗰度開發出去嘅，當然西北開發出嚟嘅，咁變咗佢個交通連接，你見到嘅好多大型基建已經係去推出嚟，咁變咗我諗疏導交通呢樣嘢咧，好大部分係吸引咗好多新嘅移民或者新嘅投資者入去嗰個安流裏邊去發展嘅。
阿 Ben， 你仲有2分鐘，不如我咧就即係講一講share 嗰個 Mackenzie Health 嗰樣嘢好嘛？
好。
咁呢個係我哋最後嘅問題係咪？咁咧就其實旺市咧就今個月咧就佢哋呢個家鏡頭見到個 Mackenzie Health 個 hospital 咧就會 open 㗎啦。咁然之後佢有本來係350張病床，家下因為 Covid 咧增加咗150張病床。咁佢其實個優勢咧就唔係咁簡單嘅。咁大家原來佢係最 high tech， 全加拿大最 high tech 嘅 hospital 嚟嘅。咁佢所謂 high tech hospital， 即係意思話咧，佢去到 level 7嘅 electronic medical record， 即係全個 hospital 咧都係 paperless 嘅。alright， 咁佢另外仲有一樣嘢咧，就即係佢做咗嘅，就相當之 impressive 嘅，就佢係將有成60幾種病咧。就整咗個 clinical solution， 即係意思話咧，每張病床側邊咧，佢係 electronic 佢哋 capture 嗰啲 chart， 咁然之後 monitor 嗰個病情，有60幾種、63種嘅 process， 咁所以即係全加拿大首創嘅，咁相當之 impressive 嘅。咁即係大致上我哋即係其實都淨有即係1分鐘到㗎嘛 ，Ben 不如我哋 wrap up 好嘛？
係啦，其實旺市係大家覺得一個未來會發展嘅地方啦，或者Betty， 你喺對旺市有冇咩嘢
？Final comment
係關於如果俾你做市長，你會第一件事會做乜嘢喺旺市？
俾我做市長啊！我會第一件事可能係要我覺得係同啲 builder 合作多啲，同埋咧就attract 多啲大啲嘅公司啊。入我哋嘅市去開公司啦，請多啲人啦，to get more， 即係啲大嘅 technology 啊，或者 pharmaceutical 啊，因為而家有個醫院咁大啦，我覺得即係可以 attract 好多呢啲大型嘅公司，同埋 work closely 嗰啲 builder。
我覺得最緊要揾到阿 Ben 同埋 Joseph 兩個喺生意上面同埋地產上面咧，就幫晒手。
商會有冇咩同市長準備傾啊？有冇機會？阿 Jo？
商會應該有嘅，因為我哋嗰個新嗰個會長應該係安排緊同旺市個市長有一個 Zoom meeting， 就詳細即係再分析下而家嚟緊呢年嘅佢哋個安嘅嗰個集嘅運作會係點樣樣咯。
OK， 多謝晒今日兩位嘉賓嚟接受我哋訪問啦。咁就今日嘅節目到此為止啦。咁我哋希望繼續做多類咁嘅節目咧，同唔同嘅城市分享下。而家我哋聽眾知道每一個城市發展嘅要點喺邊度，大家決定明天喺邊度居住。多謝。恭喜發財，好啦，恭喜發財，
多謝。